The difference between the rich and the poor is not about how much money that they have, but about the mindset that they have. So I've spoken about how I started my multifamily journey. I started with my then boss. He was a business owner and he had a lot of money, but he felt that the money was better off in his account than taking it out for any other investment. I'm going to explain to you what were the challenges he was going through. So as a business operator, he thought the best route for him was to have money in his account, but he didn't know better. It took me 1 year to convince him in investing in real estate. And the reason was because he just had some challenges of why should his money be in somewhere else that he might not even know what is happening or how to control it. He didn't understand how investment worked. He felt it was safer for him to have it count. And that is some of the mistakes some of us are making. So these are some of the differences between how the rich think and how the poor think. The poor will always prefer that they are the vehicle of which they can make income, whereas the rich will buy vehicles or things that are income producing assets in order to produce income. So today I'm going to list some differences, how the mindset of the rich is different from the mindset of the poor. After this conversation, you have to have a deep reflection to know where exactly you fall in this category. So number one, the rich invest in income producing assets, whereas the poor live from paycheck to paycheck. They really don't have enough to even think of any form of investment because they are the vehicle of how the income will come. What I'm trying to say is that if they do not show up, they don't get paid. So as long as the amount of time that they show up, that is how much they get paid. So it's paycheck to paycheck, and it's really very small for them to even think of investing. Whereas the middle class, many categories fall into the middle class. These are most times the professionals that we see. Those doctors, those pharmacists, those lawyers, most of them fall into the middle class. There's just a little difference between them and the poor class, and the difference is also the mindset. The mindset is not too different from how the poor operate. Right now, they've earned more money, they feel they have a lot of money, but what do they invest in? They go get a house, they go get a car, they go get jewelries and all that, thinking that that is wealth on its own. And the best thing that they can do again is for them to cut a piece of what they've earned, their check, and invest it in stock. And most times they do not even know what they invest in. They put it in with an investment manager and they have the investment manager investing for them. And most times they do not know what exactly is going on with their investment. So these are the middle class, whereas the rich classes play active role in their investment. That is, they invest in income producing assets that will produce the passive income for them to buy or go for vacations or do whatever it is that they want to do. And those income producing assets have tenants that produces income that will pay down the loan on the investments that they are doing. So the rich, however, invest in income producing assets such as real estate, agriculture, oil and gas, stock that can help them generate passive income. They don't work for their money, but they own the assets that produces the income for them. So that is just the basic difference between them. The second category of what I'll be discussing today is how the rich use debt as leverage. So to be clear, all debt is other people's money. People like you and I will take our money and put it in the bank, and the bank is left with liability of those money. And what they do for them to reduce the liability is for them to give it to people as debt. So now the difference between how the poor and the rich will use the debt is the poor will go ahead and take those debts in form of credit cards and use them to purchase clothes, jewelry, shoes, go on vacations and all that. They invest in things that are depreciating assets, whereas the rich will also collect that other people's money, which is OPM, and use it to purchase properties, things that are income producing. And the income producing assets will have things like tenants that can pay their rent, and those rents will be used to pay down the mortgages on those investments. So the key difference between how the rich uses debt and how the poor uses debt is the rich uses debt as leverage, whereas the poor, they use debt as a burden. Understanding taxes is critical to building wealth. You don't want to make so much money and have Uncle Sam take a lot of them, and that is what can differentiate the rich from the poor. So the rich strategically plan how they can write off a lot of their tax liabilities, and they invest in assets that can help them write off their tax liabilities, because investing in things like the real estate, multifamily, the government gives incentives to people that invest in those kind of asset classes because as it aligns with public policies. So not just real estate, you have things like energy, agriculture and all that. These are things that the government gives, even oil and gas, that the government gives incentives to people that are producing those kind of services in order for them to reduce their tax liabilities. So the rich will strategically plan how they can use those assets or those investments to write off their tax liabilities, whereas the poor and the middle class, on the other hand, rely on salaries. So they work very hard, they work a lot of hours in order for them to accumulate income. But in the other way, that might position them to be in a high tax bracket, and whereby giving them very high tax liabilities. So one of the things my business partner then was going through was he was making a lot of money, and he was in the highest tax bracket for the IRS and all that. He was making so much money, and about 40 to 45% of that money that he made as profit was going back to the government. So that was not very beneficial for him, because right then he was not thinking, or his mindset was not like that of the rich. So just to be clear, the rich do not evade taxes, but they do it in a smarter way, which is legal. Whereas the poor and the middle class are taxed at the higher rate with minimal or no deductions or incentives attached to it. My fourth point is the rich protect their wealth by using legal structure. The rich do not own assets in their personal names. Rather, they create an LLC to put those assets to reduce their liability and for asset protection. Aside from LLC, the rich also use what we call the trust, revocable and irrevocable trust, to protect their wealth and for tax planning, to protect their wealth and to reduce their liability and all that. And they also use it to pass down wealth to their kids. Some of them use the step-up basis as a rule to pass on wealth to their kids. If you want to know about that, please go to my video on YouTube. It will be in my bio. You can go there and see that video. So they use the step-up basis to protect their wealth and transfer it to their kids, whereby reducing their tax liability or even no taxes, as the case may be, and all that. Whereas the poor own assets or own maybe their houses or own anything in their name. So the difference between the poor, middle class and the rich is that everything is owned in their middle name, whereas the rich strategically open up or use legal structures to save and protect and for tax planning, whereby building wealth for their generations to come. My fifth point is that the rich actively manage their money. So for the poor and the middle class, especially the poor, they live from paycheck to paycheck, whereby they do not have the ability to either invest or they do not even know how to do it. But the middle class, they make more than the poor and they work harder, but rather than them playing an active role in their investment, they just cut a check or a piece of what they own or the money that they've earned, and they give it to an investment banker to help them invest. And you see them investing in things like 401k, IRAs, and stock. Most times they do not even know what is going on with their asset. They allow the Wall Street guys to control how they can build their wealth. They don't have active role in knowing how they can generate wealth or even know what is happening. You don't want to put your money in a place whereby you have no control or you do not know what they're using your money to do. You want to play an active role in building wealth for yourself or achieving financial freedom. But the rich, rather than having someone take such a decision for them, they take an active role in their investments. They are very cautious. They focus on the velocity of money, that is how the money can keep moving and edging inflation and keep generating wealth for them. So that is what they are particular about. They play active role, so they buy assets that are income producing, like I said earlier on, and they keep it going, and they take that income or do an exchange, buy another asset, or take that income that they have and put it in another form of assets that will also produce income for them, and they keep generating wealth through that. That is how the rich play active role in their investment. Some of them invest passively in things like income producing assets, and they know the returns. They get reports. They know that this is how their money is being used. They see those assets because they are real assets. They are not like stock. They are not like 401k. They are not like IRAs that you don't even know what's happening. These are real assets that you can see, touch, and feel, and know that this is what is happening to it and all that. So they are actively playing a role in building their financial freedom journey, compared to the middle class and the poor that don't even invest, or even those that invest sometimes will likely use those funds to invest in 401ks or IRAs or the stock market. The key point here is that the rich don't just save money, but they move money strategically to build wealth, and that is the velocity of money. So real financial success starts with how you think, the decision you take, and the way you position yourself in achieving financial freedom. Real wealth is not material possession, but is the way you play the game. Real wealth is not about the vacations you go for, the jewelries you buy, or the houses you bought, but it's about the way you think, the decision you make, and the way you position yourself in achieving financial freedom. Whereas the poor work for their money. The middle class work harder for their money, save and invest passively in things like 401ks, IRAs, and stock. Whereas the rich strategically acquire these income producing assets, leverage on debt, minimize taxes, protect wealth, and ensure that money is always working for them. I would like to end by saying this, that the key to moving up is shifting your mindset. Because the moment you're able to shift your mindset, you'll be able to understand money, play the game smarter, making financial decisions that can give you lasting wealth for you to build generational wealth. If you're looking for how you can start your journey or playing an active role in your life, you can reach out to us. My link will be in the bio for you to reach out to us, and we'll help you start investing smartly. Our goal for you is to shift your mindset to start playing the financial game smartly. I look forward to hearing from you. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? My YouTube channel is Blue Ocean Multifamily Group. So what you need to do is click like and subscribe and share it to people. Subscribe and like my Facebook page, which is Blue Ocean Multifamily Group. This is where we have free content, because our goal is not just only to provide you with income producing investment, but our goal is also to educate you to understand exactly what you're investing in. We want you to play an active role in building wealth for yourself. And the only way for you to start doing that is by having the right knowledge. And we just got you on that. We have all the content that you need on our YouTube page. I'm going to repeat it again, which is Blue Ocean Multifamily Group, on our Facebook page, which is Blue Ocean Multifamily Group. I look forward to seeing you there.